There is a decision. It is unanimous. Pete Williams, I believe, is ready to go for us now. Pete, are you with us?
Sure. So this was not the question of whether they can be paid. This was the next best thing to being there. This was a question about whether the NCAA rightly wanted to stop universities from giving what were called education-related benefits to athletes.
Indeed, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against the NCAA on its ban on schools giving student athletes education-related benefits. But what does this ruling really mean when it comes to paying student athletes directly for their amateur services? Welcome into TYT's Overruled. I'm your host, Adrienne Lawrence. On Monday, by a unanimous vote of 9-0, the U.S. Supreme Court held that the NCAA's strict limits on athlete education-related benefits violates antitrust laws. Now, these are the laws that prohibit collusion and restraint of trade or commerce. All right, enough legalese. In English, this basically means that the NCAA cannot stop schools from giving benefits like laptops or scholarships to student athletes because those restrictions, they really unnecessarily are bad for business. Now, this ruling in the NCAA versus Alston is really significant. In truth, it was actually pretty scathing. In the opinion, which was written by Justice Gorsuch, SCOTUS clearly confirms that the NCAA is operating as a monopoly that overly impedes competition in the market, yet seems to think that the laws shouldn't apply to it. Said another way, the NCAA is a low-key cartel controlling the student-athlete market to the detriment of capitalism, yet it really doesn't think that it, should have to follow the law. And as we all know, capitalism is king here in the United States, and the law is more likely to apply to kings when they mess with capitalism. So as you can imagine, SCOTUS was not here for the NCAA's ridiculous rules banning compensation for student athletes. So that begs the question, what does this ruling potentially mean on the issue of whether the NCAA can ban schools from directly paying athletes compensation for their amateur services? Foremost, it's important to understand where we are at present. Right now, the NCAA bans schools from directly paying athletes, right? Schools can only give athletes scholarships up to the full cost of attendance at their current school, and with this new ruling, student athletes can now receive education-related benefits. If this were anything but student sports, the NCAA would violate antitrust laws. So with all that being said, the SCOTUS ruling suggests the NCAA may not be able to ban direct pay to student athletes for very much longer. In the decision, Justice Gorsuch clearly states that the NCAA's restriction unnecessarily restrains trade, and that the organization was not exempt from antitrust laws. With the NCAA taking in some $1.18 billion in 2019, it's hard for the organization to really say that its primary focus is ensuring athletes focus on getting a good education while developing their amateur skills, right? It really seems like the NCAA is positioning itself to pocket big time. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who wrote the only concurring opinion here, was not a fan either. Frat boy Brett, he wrote this: "Nowhere else in America can businesses get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers at a fair rate. And under ordinary principles of antitrust law, it is not evident why college sports should be any different. The NCAA is not above the law." Yikes. SCOTUS's ruling really seems to suggest that the NCAA will not fare well if, and likely when, its ban on directly paying players is challenged before the High Court. So good luck to the NCAA and the colleges out there. It may be just a matter of time before paying market rates for one's labor starts becoming the law as it concerns student athletes.